right, y'all. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Man, last night we couldn't get to the live stream, so sorry about that. But we're going live for the show today. Still a lot of things that we can cover, but mostly I just want to kind of like go over what we talked about so far this week. I'm going to show y'all how Alabama looks inside of the film room, right? Not really breaking down too much. I will break down some things, but I really just want for y'all to see what I've been seeing on film. This is a huge matchup, obviously. You know, it's two teams that just can't stand each other. I think it's two very good teams. Kind of similar with some of the like parallels. I think some of Tennessee's strengths or some of Alabama's strengths. And really, I honestly, y'all, I feel like we have more, or I feel like we have less weaknesses than Alabama does. You know, there's a lot of things that I've seen from them on film. Like we've got some big weaknesses. They've got like a few, you know, they have more small ones, right? But we just have like a couple of big ones. But we can definitely, you know, get that cleaned up. But with all that being said, y'all please do us a favor. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we're going to be starting off right here with the injuries, all right? So just as far as, you know, the players that are going to be maybe out for Tennessee, maybe out for Alabama, I mean, it's really nothing that's super huge. So for Tennessee, Edwin Spillman missing the first half. That can be a little bit problematic. But as we get into the film, y'all will see why it might, you know, it's not as big of a deal as it would have been if he's out versus like Arkansas last week or versus some of these other teams. But, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think that Bishop is probably going to play. All right. So it's nothing that Vol fans are looking and saying, wow, I'm surprised that this person is on the list. This is really as healthy as Tennessee's been so far this year. And, you know, we've had a couple of players that's been back, a couple of key guys, especially on the defensive line and somewhat on the offensive line too. But like we're healthier up front. And now the players have gotten more time to play. So they should be playing better. All right. And then just as far as for Bama, you see several players on defense missing, especially in their front seven. So number 4 right there, I think he broke his foot in the Georgia game. He's really, really good. All right, so, you know, he's not going to be able to go. And then outside of that, it's more just like a bunch of backups, right? But they're all talented. Alabama's got a very, very talented roster. Now, people are going to be wondering mostly about Jam Miller. So I've been vocal in saying that to me it's not that big of a deal. That's something that y'all will see as we go like throughout the film. He's a good player. I'm not saying that he's not a good player, but they've got so many of them. It's more about their scheme. Like, I mean, they don't have any like real true home run threats. They don't have people. We've seen better running backs. Like we've seen several better running backs than anybody that Alabama can throw out there. If you're looking at the scheme and all that type of stuff, so it's pretty clean so far, right? I mean, I'm hoping that both teams can get as healthy as possible just because I never want to see players injured. But with all that being said, let me get into this chat real quick because I see that J Pat, what's going on, dog? He's chiming in with us. Thank you for that. Saying GBO, FUGA, Gumps go down in T-Town. I think so. I'm feeling pretty confident with it. And this one here from also from J Pat saying that they're running the ball better with Jelly. Okay. So maybe he's talking about Jam Miller. All right. And then this right here from Slick is saying that Jam Miller is their best running back, pass blocker. That's why if he's out, it's huge. And I get what people are saying, but I think that people are kind of like overlooking what I'm saying. So that is pretty interesting just because I have noticed that like their running backs, like number 9, I've seen number 4. Those are the 2 for sure. I've seen them get blown up on some blitzes. This might be a game that we want to dial up some linebacker blitzes because our linebackers for like the past couple of seasons, we've been a lot better at it this year. We just go like straight through people. If you want to blitz like a Jeremiah T-Lander, he can go straight through those guys. So you might have a point there. But just as far as the actual running dog, like I know that everyone's saying it, so people feel like that's what it is. But whenever you really watch the film, it's like, bro, it really doesn't matter. Like their running scheme, it just is what it is. Jam Miller's not doing way better than Riley or, you know, whatever number 26's name is. He's not, I mean, maybe better than 0 and 4. But it's not by like a huge margin. Like whatever they're getting is pretty much what's there. They're not really running through people. He's not really making people miss. Y'all about to see it though. All right, so let me move on. But you know, again, I think that y'all are bringing up some really, really good points. But let me move on. All right, as soon as I can find this thing and move on to this next slide here. All right, so just starting off with, again, some of the stuff that we talked about, you know, over the course of the week. Tennessee's offense versus Alabama's defense. These are the stats. Y'all see that, you know, we're winning in most of these categories. If you look at Alabama's pass defense, the numbers look great, but we've talked about it. We'll show you that they're not great versus the deep pass. Not a lot of teams have thrown the football deep on like a consistent basis versus Alabama, and when they have, people are open. for the most part, or they're just dropping passes. We talked about the quarterback rating for them versus the passes of 20 plus yards. The only team that's worse than them in this conference is Vanderbilt. So they're not good from that standpoint. Tennessee can throw the football down the field. We all know that, right? Like, we've got a much better passing scheme than we've had previously. And I would say that for both teams, passing is definitely a strength. That's something that we touched on. But for us, running the football, that's another strength. Now, our like rushing rank and all that, it's at number 22. But if you were to look at, like, of course, that's on a per game average, right? But if we're not running the football as much as some of the teams that's ranked over us. We're still averaging over 5 yards per carry. So we can still run the football. I mean, there's still a lot of meat left on the bone there, too. So that could get even better. I don't necessarily see it getting worse. And you're seeing that Alabama's run defense, it's not great by any means, all right? And then third down. People talk a lot about Tennessee's third down defense. Well, I mean, look at Alabama's. It's actually worse than Tennessee's. Third down is going to be critical. We talked about that yesterday. Red zone, it's pretty close there. I think that Tennessee can do some good things. Alabama's good. I mean, like, don't take it like I'm painting a picture like they're bad. They are good. I just think that the style matches Tennessee's scheme a lot better than it does Alabama's. And then for the turnovers, we always talk about it, man. Joey Aguilar's thrown 4 interceptions that bounced off his wide receiver's hands. So this is just like an overview. And actually, I'm going to take myself out of this so that y'all can see it a little bit better. But this is just like my overview of their defense, right? Y'all can pause it, take a look at whatever. I'm not going to go too far in depth with this because we're about to jump inside of that film room. But let me move forward and talk about Tennessee's defense versus Alabama's offense. So you can see it's very similar. Obviously, Alabama's offense is winning in more categories than Tennessee's offense was versus Alabama's defense. But we can get pressure on the quarterback. I think that we have the better front sevens on both sides of the football. That's a huge part of this game. It hasn't been that way in such a long time. But we can say that with like a lot of confidence. We definitely do. Now, again, going back to the running numbers, let's skip on down to the rushing. Alabama's ranked number 101 in the country in rushing. I know that Jam Miller's missed some games, but their like yards per carry average, it's not skyrocketing when he came back. It's not that big of a difference. Their scheme's pretty basic, but it's going to be interesting just because Tennessee's, I think part of the reason that our run stopping defense doesn't look as strong this year is because our defensive tackles, we don't have those big, huge guys like we did for the past few years. The guys that are like 330 plus. We got guys that are close to that and like 1 or 2. But for the most part, they're more like pass rushing defensive tackles. So that'll help us out, now that we're getting back those tackles, So I wanted to make sure that I did point that out. But I'm not seeing Alabama's front on a consistent basis really moving bodies. I think they have a little bit of a problem with that. So third down, y'all see where Tennessee's ranked at. Y'all see where Alabama's ranked at. That's something that we have to do much, much, much better at. And really, Tennessee's offense, too, with the third downs, wasn't great versus Arkansas. So we just got to get some things cleaned up, which that could happen at any moment. All right, red zone, you're seeing Tennessee's really low there, and Alabama's got a really good red zone offense. I actually think that their offense opens up a lot more once they get down there. And then, of course, Todd Simpson, he can run. I think he's going to be dangerous on the third downs for sure. But also in that area, that's when you really got to, everything just opens up a lot more. So turnovers, we're seeing that Alabama's pretty clean with it, and Tennessee is doing a pretty good job of generating turnovers and also turning those turnovers into points. So this is just the overview of what Alabama does on offense. Y'all can see some of the key things, all that, so on and so forth. And now I want to go on ahead and jump into the actual film of things. So let me get to some more of these chats. Looks like we got one more that we got to get to. All right. So this one is from Patrick, and he's saying that the kicker makes game-winning field goal, gets his mojo back from the Georgia miss. I would love to see it. That's something else. We don't really cover like special team stuff, but I mean Alabama's kicker is about like Tennessee's. I actually think that from like a stat standpoint, we're better just in hitting field goals and the distance at which we're hitting the field goals. And all that's great. I mean, like, you got to hit them, but I still feel like, bro, like, you got to make the ones that really count. Like, in the game-winning situations, I hope it doesn't come down to that because I hope Tennessee's winning by enough that we don't have to roll the field goal kicker out there. But, I mean, hey, we'll take a win however we can get it. So let's start off right here, man. These are just a few of the big runs from Alabama over the course of the year. All right. These are mostly going to be – and hold on, let me – All right, boom. Yeah, so this is mostly going to be like inside zone. So inside zone is what they run the most of. If it's not inside zone, I'm kind of worried about their pull lead. So we'll see that more towards the end of things. So this is their backup running back. You see how big that hole is? All right. So whenever they get that, and there wasn't a whole lot extra, he gets a little bit extra. Has a little bit more like wiggle to his game. All right. So this one, I think that this is also Riley. You see there, he's kind of making people miss. He's falling forward. He's only like a $190. So this one, I think that this might be Jam. No, so this is also 28. And that's another thing. They don't have a whole lot of runs of 10 plus yards. Like all the Jams, it's just a huge hole. This one, he had to kind of find the hole. You see what I'm saying? Like he gets to the outside. This is all just like inside zone stuff, but teams will bounce it to the outside. All right, so this is 0. This is, I think his name is A.K. Deer. I think he was a 5-star coming out, 4-star, 5-star, very, very like highly rated player, younger guy. You won't see a whole lot of him probably, but you could. With 28 Riley, that's the guy that they really like to throw the football to him. But that's, again, inside zone, bounce it to the outside. So you always got to set strong edges. It doesn't really matter what type of run it is. But most of their runs, there's not a ton of misdirection. It's just going like straight at the teeth of the defense. So now this is Jam, okay? And I think that might have been a pull lead, but you're seeing that, I mean, whatever's there is what he's getting. He gets tackled, right? Like, I mean, he's not some world beater. This ain't, Bo Jackson or somebody. That was a pretty good, following blocks there, but he gets hit, he gets stopped. All right, this is him, pull lead, right? Pretty good patience, wide open hole. If we're in our run fits, we don't have to be too worried about it. But this is my point. It's not a big difference from any of these running backs. It all looks to me relatively the same, like almost the exact same. So they're seeing a little bit of like pre-snap movement with that orbital motion. So this is actually run pass option, and that's the play that I think Jam got hurt on. But with their run pass option, y'all, it's like high school level stuff. They mostly want to hand it off, so it's not super versatile. Doesn't put a whole lot of stress on you. It's definitely on a lower level than most of the SEC. And I'm gonna pause this for just a second so I can finish up with this thought. But they run it a lot on first down and second and mediums, which means that they're going to be running a lot on first down and second and medium because they hand it off a lot out of that. But just like with the actual pass part of it, it's just not a lot that we have to worry about. It's mostly just going to be screens. Okay, like if they pass it, it's just like a little quick screen. Come up and tackle. That's something that obviously we haven't been great at. But, if we can just get that figured out, then we should be fine. Now, this is how their run defense looks. I think that was a 3-4. Okay, so you're seeing people are getting moved. We talked about their front seven. It's going to be the lightest that we face as far as SEC teams so far this year, right? So you're seeing people kind of falling forward, so on and so forth. Right here, boom, really getting moved there. I think that is also 3-4. But look, running through tackles. So see, this is what, like whenever people talk about Jam Miller, I think that they're thinking that it looks like this. Like I think that they feel like, hey, he's running through a bunch of tackles. He's making people miss. He's super dangerous. He's good. I mean, it's the SEC. All the skill players are going to be somewhat dangerous if you don't, look at that hole. That's huge, dude. I mean, that is a gigantic hole. So, yeah, but I mean, everybody's dangerous. It's just not that big of a deal to me personally. All right, so most of this stuff I think is going to be like inside zone. This is one that he bounced to the outside. And the reason that I'm showing y'all their run defense versus inside zone is because that's what Tennessee runs the most of. All right, it's that, and then it's like gap scheme stuff. Look at, I mean, moving bodies, okay, killing folks. And we know that Georgia's offensive line, man, it ain't that great. They got 2 freshmen on the right side of that line, 2 true freshmen on the right side of that line. They're getting movement. They're getting to the edge on some of these plays. So, and this is a 3-3-5. You see how light that box is? And then quarterback run. I think this is something that Tennessee can most definitely do. I think that, obviously Gunnar Stockton, he's a better athlete than both of these quarterbacks to me. But yeah, I mean, this is how things look inside of my mind. All right. I'm just showing y'all, trying to chop it up as quick as I can for you. But now this is how their passing offense looks versus quarters coverage. And I think all these clips is going to be versus Florida State because Florida State ran a whole lot of quarters coverage. All right. So, boom, right? So quarters coverage, let me pause and show you. Quarters coverage means that the secondary players are all playing in the deep quarter of the field. It's a deep coverage. You're taking away all the deep passes, but you're going to give up some stuff like over the middle, underneath. The reason that this works well versus their offense and the reason why Todd Simpson's passer rating is at the lowest versus quarters coverage, which Tennessee runs the most of, is because of their scheme. You will notice that most of their passing plays will go vertical down the field, or most of their routes is going vertical down the field. Now, they will have some stuff that comes to the middle, but it's not super complex. So their passing scheme, it's nowhere near Syracuse. Syracuse is not a very talented team, but they always have, or they have for the past couple of seasons, had one of the top passing offenses in the country. because of the scheme, because it's very tough. They put a lot of stress on you, right? Arkansas is right up there with them. I'd say that for Syracuse, their passing scheme, I'd give it like a 9, like a 9.8 or something, like really, really high. For Arkansas, it's right in that same ballpark. If it's not at a 9, it's at like an 8.9. It's like right there. And you know what? We can go back. We could talk about Georgia because Georgia's is super simple. I give Georgia, just as far as how difficult their scheme is to stop, I'd give that probably like a 2. It's pretty like, well, this year, and since Gunnar Stockton's been out there, is it like a 2? It's super low. It's not, what they're trying to do. But if they have a better quarterback, then they can dial it up and mix it up. But I would say that Alabama's passing scheme probably at about like a 4, maybe like a 5. They do some good things. They have excellent athletes. I think that they execute well, but it's pretty simple. So you take away all this vertical stuff. What they love to do versus quarters coverage is throw these quick screens. So again, you got to be able to come up and tackle. So you're going to see it here. And this is about as like difficult as their scheme gets. They're showing that orbit motion, right? So I think that they could probably throw it here, and then they have the screen going to the other side. So this is as tough as the misdirection stuff gets for them. And you see that if you stay at home, if you play discipline, you can make those stops. All right. So on this next one, right? Again, this is all going to be quarters coverage. Pay attention. Look at this. I mean, most of the stuff is going vertical down the field. I know a lot of folks are worried about the middle of Tennessee's defense. There's nothing even there. There's nothing there. It's not always like that, but a lot of the times it is. It's just not a lot of stress from that standpoint. And you see that there's a sack, so we'll see it again from this angle. Pay attention to this guy here. Who is this? I'm going to go back some. I don't know if that's a wide receiver, if that's a tight end. All right, so right here. Might be a tight end. I have no idea. But either way, these edge rushers, if someone's this close to you, they're going to chip you. All right? They're going to chip you. They're not very good at it. Okay, these offensive tackles, they're not the best. Who's this getting beat? I think it's that left guard. We're going to go back. I'm going to try not to break it down too much, but I want for y'all to see what I'm seeing. Look at that. Left guard gets punched right in the mouth. Boom. Going right past him. Look at that. Boom. And it's not always like that, but it's like that a lot, y'all. I mean, they don't have the best offensive line. So they also like to start off empty, which is what they just did. Start off empty, see what the defense is in. Hey, is a linebacker coming out to cover this running back? Okay. I don't know what they're getting from that. Could be man, could be something else. But now they're, okay, this is what we're going to run now. So come on back in. Now we know what their routes are going to look like. All right, you see that they love to go 3-by-1. Trips down here, one up at the top. So now we're seeing some stuff that's going over the middle. This is a drag. I don't know exactly what that route was. Kind of like the same thing, but it's underneath. It's shallow stuff. Come up and tackle. It's that could be tough on like a second and medium, right? But you're seeing that the pressure's still getting there. All right, this center is a freaking monster, dude. And look, that's exactly what I was just talking about, right? So watch this running back try to come pick this up. Boom, just gets blown up. That happens a lot. I'm gonna pause it here. And I'm going to try to jump into this chat and see if we can get to some of this stuff because I see that there are some coming in. We'll take breaks every now and then because we still have some more stuff that we have to get to, some more things that we will be covering. So this one right here from Slick is saying, what's my score prediction? So no, I'm not saying that until Saturday, brother, but we will get to it. And actually, I don't even have a score. Like I don't have one just yet. And this one right here from Roll Tide saying, hello, everyone. What's going on with you, bro? Thank you for joining us. This one's from Unga saying that Hood can limit Jeremy and that Redmond steps up and bullies Ryan Williams with the press. Easy money. I'm glad that you brought that up because there's something that we will be getting to here. Actually, we need to talk about that now because look, quarters coverage is one thing. That's just this is going to take away, stop them from going down the field deep. Takes away most of what they like to do. Couple of problems with it though. Like we said, we got to be able to come up and tackle on those quick screens. The safeties are going to be run first. Our safeties haven't looked great coming downhill and stopping the run or just really even open field tackling. Our safeties have played terrible. If we can get just like a freaking, I'm going to call it an average SEC game from all of our safeties and from our stars over the course of the game, Tennessee's going to win this one. Might win it pretty big. All right. So that's a big part of it. But most of the passing plays, like we talked about, goes to the outside. Tennessee can run man in this game. I would love to see us run some man with some zone concepts because whenever you run man, if it's total man, the linebackers have to play man too. The safeties have to play man too. So we know that our cornerbacks, they can hold in man-to-man coverage. They're going to give up some stuff, but for the most part, they're going to make plays. I think that they could go one-on-one versus any of the wide receivers for Alabama. And if it's, hey, man, it's 10 plays where it's our cornerbacks versus any of their wide receivers, I say that we're going to win at least 6 of those. So that's 60%, and maybe 5 of them, but that could be good. Just don't give up 6 points. So, but you have to also understand it. Like, can our safeties do it? I know that our star players can. The drags have kind of killed us. Like the inside stuff is really hurt our stars. But our linebackers aren't super great at that. So let them play like a middle zone, right? Or let them blitz because there's not going to be a lot of things coming to the middle anyway. So this is a game that, because Alabama's offensive system is a lot more simplistic than what we've seen for like the past few weeks. Because look, UAB's offense, it's a lot more complicated, right? I know that they're not as talented, but it's more difficult to game plan for. It's more difficult to actually stop things. But with Alabama, pretty simple. So we should have a good game plan. I know the coach Heupel's going to have some things dialed up too. All right, sorry to go off on that tangent, but this is the next one. All right. Says that he thought that Jam Miller was out. Right now he is. I don't know if he's going to play or not. I like to go into the games thinking that they're going to be fully healthy. Even the people that are maybe not the ones that are out, but if they're not listed as out, we say, okay, well, we got to get ready for them. Maybe Bama's showing, wants Tennessee to have to get ready for him. Like I said, I don't think that from a coaching standpoint, it's going to make that much of a difference. Outside of, like somebody brought up, excellent point, outside of picking up blocks. That could change up a lot of things. All right, so this one right here is saying go big damn orange. Love that, and he's listed as questionable. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so is from this one is from Miss Terry's Bathwater. Thank you for joining us. Saying go big orange and saying I hope that we get to see Joey. Yeah, that would be nice, bro. That would be real nice to see that. But actually, at the same time, I don't want him doing that. Honestly, I want him to get his butt down because we need Joey. You know what I mean? Hey, just get what's there, but we don't need him trying to like lower his shoulders. Well, I mean, you have to make sure that you're not giving him clean, easy shots on you, right? But I don't want him trying to go through nobody because Alabama does have some dudes that will stick you. All right, so this next one is saying hopefully he is okay, but okay on Sunday and misses the game. Yeah, I feel you on that, bro. Hey, look, I'm not even mad at you for that one, bro. And so he's also saying that we need Mod in this one. I would love to have Mod in this game for sure. That just adds to the depth. This is something that P also brought up. He was like, dude, whenever Mod comes back, why don't we put him at star and then move one of those stars to safety? Can y'all even imagine how good this defense, how good the coverage would be? Just like if you put us at whatever the defense is ranked in the nation right now, maybe 50 or 60, bro, we would not with the stats off the rip, but as far as how we play, we're going up to like the top 20. And once we start to gel well on defense, we're top 15 for real, for real. Okay? That would be a huge upgrade, just as far as the entire defense. But I do trust our corners. We just don't have that many of them. I trust our wide receivers. We just don't have that many of them. All right, let me get on back into the show. Let me get on back into it. All right. So what are we on here? All right, so we're still in the quarters coverage, and you're seeing that now so it looks like Florida State switched to the quarters after that wide receiver motion's over. They're basically running a stack here. So they were playing man, and Alabama tries to run a man beater. But, actually, they end up running a screen there. So come up and tackle. One of the things about Florida State, their safeties are, I hate to say it, but they're better than ours. They're better than ours have played so far. Those guys got to step up, bro. It just is what it is. They're going to have to step up. So I'm also showing y'all how it looks as far as how long it takes them to snap the football. They move super slow at a snail's pace. But look, down the field, everything's covered up. Middle of the field, there's nothing there. So in quarters coverage, we can cover this type of stuff. All the stuff that moves to the outside. We can cover that a lot easier. But, it's just about styles making the fights, baby. That's it. So look, running some stunts up front. Actually, who is this? Is this Jason Jenkins? Yeah, come on, Jason Jenkins, but there's that chip. You got to be, better than that. But you're seeing that the pressure's still getting there. Pressure's getting there. And when we talked about Ty Simpson not being good versus the pressure, I didn't necessarily mean blitzes. He's actually good versus the blitzes. But it's not like last week where Taylor Green and Joey Aguilar, both better versus the blitz, than they were just with overall passing period. But with Ty, you got to be careful with the blitzes, but if you can get the pressure, which I think we can with 4, you got to dial up blitzes sometimes. Then that's where his QBR starts to go down. Same thing here, y'all. A lot of vertical stuff, really nothing open down the field. You could call this, but let's take it back some and let's see exactly what's going on. All right. So boom, this is very, very deep, like out or comeback. Take some time for that to get open. Now, this quarterback, he could throw that. Deep outs, He's an NFL quarterback. He could definitely hit that. But they instead go here. I put this in here just to show you, can't do this. If you, I mean, they're going to call PI. And actually, I'd much rather you, man, look, interfere with them. I mean, not hard, but go play football. If they throw the flag, then they just throw the freaking flag. It's not the NFL where they go to like the 1 yard line if you do this. But they are going to call it. Okay, like that is going to happen. I think that we'll see some plays later on in this game or in this film breakdown where, Bama is going to do some PI. It's not going to get called. Even the game is at Florida State. Does not matter. All right. So cover up everything deep. Now they're going to like the, hitches, a bunch of stick stuff, right? Come up, make the tackle. Make them throw it underneath. Don't let them throw it all the way down the daggone field. And we got to do something. We got to dial something up on third down. I don't necessarily mean blitzes, but we got to dial something up. So here, what they're trying to do is occupy things. So they've got showing, hey, we got a baller right here. He's in y'all's flats, and now they're trying to overload with basically 2 one-on-ones down the field. But we're over the top there. That's not something that you want to throw. Then we're underneath, them overloading and flooding this one half of the field. So, and it's all quarters coverage. It takes away most of what they like to do. Now, obviously, this isn't most of their plays, but you're seeing like a plethora of different things here, right? Come up and stop the freaking screens. Can we be physical? Can our cornerbacks be physical? Of course. That's what they do. They've been a lot more physical over the course of the year. Same thing here. Down the field, covered up, middle of the field, there's really nothing there. It's just one threat, And they could switch some things up for sure. They could totally switch it up, but I think that they're going to stick to what they do. This is what they've done since he was at Washington. We talked about this like way back in the playoffs when he was at Washington. We talked about their passing scheme. It's a bunch of vertical stuff. That's what they like to do, and somehow it was working. Now, I don't think it's been working so far this year too. But if you just stick to this, you'll be able to take it away. So there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of plays in this portion of it. And what I'm going to do is just get back to the chat and let these plays roll, just because I've broke that down, I think, enough. Y'all get the point in what I'm trying to make here. And there will be some more facets to this. Let me get to this one real quick. Saying I think that we will run the ball easy in this one. Love to hear that. Love to see that. All right, so look, that's one where they set it up. Hey, this is going to be a quick game now because they've been running a whole bunch of quarters coverage. So now let's just try to operate on some slants. Okay, we'd much rather you doing that than throwing it down the field. You know what I mean? We'd much rather you doing that because if we can really shut down their running game, which is going to be a huge part of the matchup to me, if you can make them have to throw the football a lot and they feel like, man, we can't even run the ball, then it starts to we really start to dial things up. Really start to dial it up. And I'm going to wait for this to go on to the next portion before I get to any more of these chats, all right? Because I want for y'all to see what all is up here. Taking away pretty much the entire field. Pretty simple, all right? And then we can see this one again. So they're actually going wide here. You know what? I feel like this play was already in there. Did we go back too far? Oh, you know what, y'all? I think that I might have went back a little bit too far on this. Okay, no. All right, here we go. I just had that one in there twice. All right, so now this is their defense versus the deep pass. Okay? This is how their defense looks versus the passes of 20-plus yards. All right, and what are they playing here? Looks like this is a cover 2. Okay? So this is not all going to be versus Florida State, but you're seeing here, boom, right? This guy's wide open, all right? Wide open. I think that turned into man. Yeah, so this is man-to-man coverage. We got speed. We got speed, and we got some we at least have one big wide receiver, Brad, so he's going to be a problem. All right, so you're seeing that their cornerbacks down the field and really just in coverage period, they're not as good as Tennessee's are. And look, this is versus the daggum Badgers. I mean, you let that guy beat you one-on-one. Come on, man. We got guys that can roll down the field. And look at this. And this is the slant and go. Everyone was on Tyler Redmond for giving up this exact same play versus this exact same wide receiver on this exact same side of the field, right? He didn't look this damn bad. I mean, that looks horrible. This is a guy that they said, hey, this is a first-round cornerback. He's been there for like 15 years. He still can't cover man-to-man. That's just a straight-up vertical route. I mean, stop and go, a little bit of wiggle to it. I mean, stuff is open. And this is Zach Branch. We talked about this, I think, yesterday. He's mostly just a screen guy. He's a small guy. You letting him catch the football down the field? Look at this. One-on-one versus a team, that it does not have a very good down-the-field passing game. All they're doing here, what is this? I mean, they're just going vertical. And that's a safety. Who is? I think that's number 7. He's actually pretty good. Number 3 is also pretty good. They got good players. I'm just saying, this is what they struggle with. Look at this, one-on-one. Is that number 1 again? Yeah, you're gonna see him getting beat a lot. That's just what he does. I think that's going to be it. But I've seen him get beat a lot. So those are the guys that I think Tennessee needs to try to pick on. All right, so let me pull this. Let me get this thing back. All right, and then I'm gonna start to get into these chats. All right, so appreciate y'all for joining us for sure, and thank y'all for chiming into the chat. All right, so David is asking, do I see our tight ends being really active on Saturday? I think as far as blocking, I'm not quite sure how much we could utilize them in the passing game. It's something that if we do try to utilize them in the passing game, because Alabama's linebackers are really good athletes. I think that they're going to be good in coverage, especially versus the tight ends. They'll be pretty good versus our backs too. But it has to be something that's setting it up for something else, right? Like use them as kind of like decoys. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's all going to be based off of what kind of coverage is Alabama going to try to run versus us. If it's a whole lot of like deep coverages, kind of like what we just talked about Tennessee should do, then the tight ends could be more of a factor because we can scheme them open. I think that they will make some plays, but I'm not looking at them as like a key piece to the game, not in the passing game. All right, but thank y'all for the questions. So Slick is saying that he thinks that Bray Hubbard could be a problem. I think that he's really good at stopping the run. He's like a smaller linebacker. His coverage is just all right. Like his coverage really isn't great. I think that we could go at him. If we can now see, could maybe our tight ends be a better matchup versus him than even their linebackers? I think so. Mainly because he's going to be smaller than their linebackers. So I think that it's going to be smaller than their linebackers and smaller than our tight ends. But I think that they can maybe box him out. He's not great in coverage. He's been like very opportunistic, and that is part of sports, bro. It's part of life. Some people are just fortunate. He's got really good fortune. So yes, that's true from that standpoint. But I mean, they've got guys at safety. They've got guys in different spots that, in my opinion, look a lot better just from like a sheer coverage standpoint. All right, so this one right here saying great breakdown. Vols can win. Thank you for that, Billy. Yeah, I feel good about it, man. I'm feeling very, very confident. I just think that it's a good matchup for us. It's on the road. I know that I saw like a couple of people pointing out in the comments previously that I didn't talk about how Tennessee, especially like the offense, hasn't been great on the road, which I do feel like is something that we've covered in some different videos. But let me also tell y'all this. Whenever we, like every single game week, like our videos, like you got to kind of like watch the whole week because we do separate videos because it's so much information. So we might have covered something in a previous video that you missed. But if you want the full picture, you got to just kind of like keep up with us every single week, every single day. But yeah, I think that, and I lost my whole train of thought. Let me get back to this. Yeah, so look, I think that Tennessee can most definitely win it. This is a good matchup for us. Obviously, going on the road, any offense, it's not going to be. So most offenses are going to be worse on the road than they are at home. I don't think that our offense has been this season on the road, which we haven't been on the road that much. It hasn't been as bad as it was previously. A lot of that was with the scheme changes. Now more pro style, you have a lot more answers. But versus Mississippi State, how many points did the offense score? It wasn't that many. So while a lot of folks are down on Tennessee's defense, I mean, they've been scoring points. I think that they really helped us to win the game, versus Mississippi State. But yeah, if we just come out, play clean from the standpoint of trying to limit the pre-snap penalties, trying to limit the like false starts and all that, try to limit the obvious stuff. You still got to play hard. I don't really ever get mad at people for the effort penalties, like holding and things like that, which, holding, sometimes face masks, pass interference. I'm not super mad about that. It's the pre-snap stuff that we have got to get cleaned up. We're going to have an excellent game plan, but I feel confident, man. Like, think about it. Last time that we went down there, and this was versus Saban, totally different teams for Alabama and Tennessee. That opening half, we looked really good. I think that we could look really good in this opening half, too. Can we play 60 minutes? We got to play 4 quarters. All right, so let me get to more of these. All right, so this one is saying that our tight ends this year have been kind of disappointing versus the preseason hype. All right, sorry, it's hard for me to see this stuff because it's super small. But saying, or is that just me? Yeah, I don't think that we've utilized them as much. Part of that is Miles Kitselman is not the best route runner. He's not going to get a bunch of separation. He's had several drops. He's not the best pass catching threat. He's an excellent blocker. He's a pretty good pass catching threat. But those younger guys, so Ethan Davis, he's missed a lot of the year. But then with like Jack and with Brame, Jack's played some. We haven't thrown it to him too much. Brame's he's barely played. This is a game that you might want to try to utilize that. As I also touched on, because they like to run so much of their base defense, which is that 3-4, which means they have 4 linebackers out there, and they have less secondary players, so there's less speed. Tennessee needs to utilize the empty, just like what we just saw with Alabama doing. They pre-snap show the empty, or sometimes, it starts off with this is not empty, but then it goes to empty. Do more of that because you can create a lot of mismatches from that standpoint. But yeah, I would say that they haven't really had to do too much this season. And they have, as far as catching the football, they haven't been, it probably has been a little bit, maybe just like a little bit worse than I thought, just because we haven't, we've had way too many freaking drops. So this one from Slick. Okay, yeah, Bray. Oh, okay, so you're saying that Bray is probably the best at stopping the run from what I've seen. With their secondary, yeah. So he's really good inside of the box. He's very, very strong. Like, they got 2 guys. It's him, and it's that damn center, man. Like, for their size, just really, really strong. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that matchup looks with our tight ends trying to block him. I think that we can, if we can get our hands and stuff, get our face on their backers, we can block them. Most of them are under 230. We can definitely move them. And also, how's the offensive line going to look? Because I've heard some rumblings that maybe David Sanders will start for us at right tackle in this game because he didn't last game. Or would you rather maybe just do what we did last game? I'm almost at that point now where, J.C. Perry looks really good playing at right tackle, but just as far as running the football, man, if you have Wendell Moy and Lance Hurd on that left side, the amount of movement that they get on opposite sides is crazy. On one side would be insane. And then, Jesse Perry, if he feels comfortable playing at right guard, his movement is going to be really good right there with Sam Pendleton. And also with David Sanders, who's shown some good movement too. He's got to do a little bit better job. Like, I think he's scared to hold. Brother, it's the SEC. You're going to have to hold a little bit more. Like, you're going to have to hold on to people just a little bit longer than what you're doing. But there are some things within our running scheme that I love. Like, we talked about this early on, that the backside players, or the backside on the defense, they were making most of the plays. Now we're like cutting backside, especially with that outside zone. So the backside guard and tackle, they're cutting, or it's just like the backside tackle. He's cutting, and then the outside zone, I think that could play it could be okay versus this defense, but it's just so much speed that I don't know how that's really going to work. Probably better suited just to run straight at them, but there's just so many different variables that I feel like could be positive for Tennessee. Obviously, there's some things that could be negative too, just like anything. All right, nailed it like usual. Thank you for that. So this one is from Miss Terry's Bathwater. He says that he thinks that we're going to beat their tackles with speed to the outside, and we're not going to bull rush Proctor. Yeah, I don't think that you want to bull rush him, but man, there are some plays that I've seen where he's getting, I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't look nearly as good as he did last season. I've heard that he cut some weight so that he can move better, but I think that we just beat him however you need to beat him. But that's an excellent point. You can definitely beat him to the outside with the speed. They'll be waiting on that, but do we have the counters? We've shown that we'll spin move and all that, but we have to be able to set it up. But also on the inside, don't sleep on our defensive tackles. And I'm curious to see, man, can one of our guys beat that center? I haven't seen that all year long. I want somebody to go put him on his butt. That's what I want to see. I want to see somebody stalemate him at the freaking line of scrimmage versus to run. I want for us to take pride in that. I want for us to play really, really physical in this game, very physical. Because that's one of the things, man, you can make them shut down. I think that as a team, right, the entire team talked about them. There's several players that I think are really, really tough and rugged, but I think that they are a little bit more soft. Smash mouth football, bro. Go smack some folks in the mouth over and over and over again, and that starts up front. If we can dominate, if we can bully their front, it's going to be a really long day for them, baby. Really, really, really. And the refs are going to have to be working overtime. All right, so last one that we'll get to. This one is from Slick, saying that he feels comfortable with Jesse Perry, to be honest. I feel comfortable with all those guys. I feel a lot more comfortable. Like Sham, I think the Sham had a better game, but he's still some things that, especially like run blocking, he can do better. All right, so you know what? I said that was going to be the last one, but this is from someone that we haven't gotten to today, so I'm going to get to this one as well. But so Bennett, he's saying that Proctor doesn't have good balance. I think that's a great way to say it. Doesn't have good balance, and if you get hands inside quick, you can knock him off his base quick, and that he has a feeling that Tyree West is going to have a big day. I think that all of our guys are going to have a big day. Think about how deep we are there. because it's not just Tyree West. Dom Bailey, he's now playing more on the outside. So Dom, who's to me, his pass rush has taken a lot of steps forward this year. Obviously, over there, you still got Tyree Weathersby. You still got Marion Dow, who didn't even play last week, but he's a freaking problem as a freshman. He's a stud. And then on the other side, you got Caleb Herring, monster. Joshua Joseph, monster. Jordan Ross, you know what I mean? So we got, like, for real, man, we got like 7, maybe even 8 or 9 pass rushers that will be able to wreak havoc. It's not just Tyree West, but Tyree West is also a problem. Super, super deep with our pass rushers. But we got to be able to actually show up. And I said that those are the last one, but I'm going to try to just keep on going. All right, so this one is saying that I'm really hoping that Jordan Ross has a huge game against his home state. Yeah, and we got other players, if I'm not mistaken, that are from Alabama. Like Ricky Gibson, he's from Alabama. Obviously, he's not playing, but he might want to have that secondary fired up for it. You know, he might have something to say pregame to try to get those guys even more fired up for it. And for Miss Terrace Bathwater, asking, do we have any wrestlers on the defensive line? Brailsford looks like he did judo. Yeah, I said the same thing. I'm sure that we got some people on the team that did wrestling, but it should be something that if you play on the front, that should be mandatory. Like, bring in a daggum wrestling coach, because we can put them on salary here and let them just coach the guys up on some of the, like, leverage. All right? Because it's all about the leverage. But, yeah, he's unbelievable, man. Really is. He's like, seems like he has done some type of martial arts for him to be as small as he is and be as unbelievably powerful as he is. I would love to see his weight room numbers. They got to be crazy. All right, so this one's from Oreo Puppy Dog, saying to hope that the kicker is good and calm. All right, yeah, I think that's a good point. You got to have ice water, man, especially in these types of games. But that's going to do it, y'all. Listen, thank y'all so much for joining us today. I'm not sure that we'll have a video coming out tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe we can get something out. But just really wanted to come in here and chop it up with everybody. Hopefully y'all did go and check out Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee, because he did have his chat last night. And I told people that on the channel. If y'all haven't watched it live, you can still go back and check that out, all right? So I'm going to get this one from Charles as well. And this for real, this is the last one. So from Charles, he's saying that Jordan Ross will be the Baba Yaga for those. Oh, yeah. For those John Wick fans, you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's the boogeyman, right? Dude, I think that they're going to be seeing a whole lot of boogeymen, a whole lot of ghosts, and I'm hoping that we have a good game planned out. Like I said, I think that on defense should be a lot easier. It might be a more complicated maybe like a more complicated time to figure things out for the offense. Not to say it's going to be super complicated, but yeah, I'm feeling very confident. And if we don't talk to y'all tomorrow, then we will be talking to y'all on Saturday for the pregame show. But thank y'all so much, and we'll be talking to y'all then.